So we got here Sean McKenna at Riverfest 2022. How's it been going for you? Like, I mean, Side Hustle just killed it last night.
It was a great set last night. Very well run festival, as was yours. It was the first time in a while that we had all 6 members there. Our bass player Ryan was away, so we had Jason McCorston fill in last night, and he absolutely killed it. We didn't do one rehearsal. We just showed up and played. He didn't miss a beat.
Cool.
A lot of fun, great crowd, just a lot of fun.
And when you get to play on stage with the promoter, it kind of gets that extra edge to the people are kind of like extra happy.
Well, and the thing that was cool was that I think, and Jason's going to play tonight, but the thing that was cool was that a lot of people got to, show appreciation for him. Jason produces bar stools for me, and he edits and does all that stuff. He does all the creative. But he's a guy that's usually behind the scenes. He doesn't, he silently gets his work out there. So I think it was very cool for him to be up there and get the proper response that he deserves, because he's a talented mofo.
Yeah. It's like that. You've played Far Out Fest. I mean, you've played everywhere. Where did it all start, all this, playing music?
2 Jaden Drive in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, where my mother still lives. Just a bunch of, junior high school buddies that want to get together, and everybody picked an instrument. And I truthfully wanted to play guitar, but one of the guys that was part of the group, his father was a gentleman by the name of Paul Lawson that played for years.
Okay.
So
I got some records of him.
There you go, Cameo, all that stuff. So Joey got to play guitar. I ended up playing drums and fell in love with Kiss and Eric Carr and all that stuff, and that's it. And here I am, at the ripe old age of 36, still doing it.
Right on. I thought you looked like young.
Right.
That's awesome.
I don't know if you can see it, but man, I got some sun today.
You probably played all over Canada throughout your years.
Yep.
And it's like, is there any place that's better than the other, or is it like pretty much the same when you were touring?
Well, I mean, so places that for me that, I'll always go, like, a lot of fun. Obviously, the Misty Moon in Halifax, the Crazy Horse in Dartmouth, Monty's in Dartmouth more recently. There used to be a bar called the Red Onion in Peterborough, Ontario. That was an amazing place to play. Ended up meeting Sebastian Bach's dad a couple of times, his sister Heather. Used to play a bar in Winnipeg that was really cool, another bar in Calgary. Got to play Buffalo, New York, and Detroit a couple of times, and just sort of north of New York City. So, but those are the ones I guess that kind of stand out. They're always good times. You circle them on the calendar and want to do a good job when you show up.
Do you have any film of this stuff? Like, was it documented at all, or was it just, passing through this and just forgetting?
Some was. So back then, it's interesting. I was in a band called Jack Butler that ended up signing a record deal with A&M. And my manager, who was my manager at the time, he's playing in Chester Doom tonight. Peter Arsenault, great band. We had a video for our EP, which was called Sexualize an Audio Tape. The song was called Southbound Train. If you go on YouTube, I think it's rocking into a solid 521 views, so we can get that up.
Wow.
But it was the video was basically made by snippets of a bunch of performances.
Okay.
And that's really, outside of the EP and a demo that we did for the record company, there wasn't a lot that I could still have, and I'm a terrible guy for keeping stuff.
Right.
Unfortunately, I was never that into it.
At least you release stuff on YouTube now.
Well, yeah, I gotta make up
Jason.
for it. Yeah, my past faux pas are punishing everybody now, but yeah, for sure.
So in Jack Butler, you had probably Kevin Saulnier in the band.
Kevin Saulnier from Clare, Saulnierville. Interesting story. I had met Kevin 2 years before he got in the band. He was living down in Saulnierville, and he used to go into the Clare Social Club and hang out, and then he moved to Halifax, and I ran into him at the Misty Moon. Jack Butler was a 4-piece band at the time, and I wanted to add a keyboard player because I thought that's what we needed for the rounding out of the sound. And Kevin came in. He was out of the band for a short period of time, but the classic lineup of Jack Butler would have been Chad Campbell on lead vocals, Ron Melanson on lead guitar, Kevin Toad Saulnier on keyboards, myself, and Gareth Blake on bass.
Wow. It's like that was a few years ago.
It was, yeah, I mean, so it's funny, I think about all the stuff that we did, and I mean, we played a lot in Halifax, and then we ended up going to Ontario and being based out of there. The band was together 5 years, and it seems like it was a lot longer than that. Started in 1990, the same week that Sloan started.
Okay.
And go figure, and the big Halifax grunge explosion took off. Broke up in 95, and the interesting thing was our first gig that we ever played was the old Misty Moon. And it was an amazing show. We opened for, I can't remember who we opened for, a guy named Glenn Stace, I think. But it was a big show. All our friends were out. The last show the band ever played was in Brantford, Ontario, to about 40 people. Okay. And we all knew that was going to be the last night. And it kind of sucked because we didn't document it. It was kind of, the band had run its course. And yeah, so I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes. But 90 to 95 is when that band was around.
Do you find that rock and roll now, with Barstools and Band Talk, is getting, a little bit more traction, and that you guys are obviously promoting this stuff a lot with all the bands? Do you find that there is more interest now?
So what I find, and in particular the hair metal genre, really seems to be, it went away for a bit, right? Because, I mean, the grunge thing happened and everybody, it wasn't cool to be a hair metal guy or whatever. And, but you're seeing all these Monsters of Rock crews, and you got Kiss out there, and, Warren and Tesla, and all these guys are still touring. I think what it is the guys like you and I, our vintage, had kids. And their kids grew up listening to the music that we loved, and now they know it, and they're out there listening to it again. And so it's having this resurgence. The thing that's a little interesting to me, and I always think about it, so, our parents would have listened to, like, Chuck Berry and Bill Haley and the Comets, and you listen to it now, and it kind of a little outdated, maybe even the Beatles to some extent, but not that much. The music that we grew up into the 90s listening to still sounds like top-notch production today.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just I think it's this new wave of parents that now have children that grew up listening to the tunes, and it's getting its, second and third, probably fourth legs.
Yeah. Well, Sean, it's a pleasure talking to you again, and it's like seeing you in here, Riverfest. This is great. And hopefully you get to perform with Poison Cherry later.
Well, hopefully, yeah. And I do want to say thank you for having us at the Fire Out Fest. We had a great time. You guys put on a great show, and
thank you.
I had told you it was a while since I was to that neck of the woods. Hospitality was top notch, and look out, Sean and Jason might be doing some things here in the very near future. So keep an eye out for that.
We have to. Yes. Thank you.